Well, hello there and welcome back, Cozy Club. Today's video is going to be a banger because it starts the very beginning of our siege on Olympus Raid guides and our Titan by Titan strategy guides for what's going to be a very difficult but fun raid. What better place to start than the most intimidating, or at least looks-wise, to me at least, the most intimidating Titan. The Tornado Titan is going to be the first raid guide that we kick this thing off with. In today's Tornado Titan guide, we're going to be going over everything that you'll need to know, the Titan's abilities, things that are going to help you massively with strategies in the best teams and characters, and everything we know thus far against the Tornado Titan. And you see, to be candid, it's kind of difficult to make these videos because we want them out in a timely manner to help as many people as possible, but at the same time, these are going to be bound to evolve, the best teams, the best strategy, and I'm going to do my best to keep these things updated to make sure that you guys know the very best information available. Now, Cozy Club, with me and my club going against the hardest difficulty available right now in the T4 raid, this is bound to be a good guide and a good starting place for quite a while and for the months to come. However, if you haven't already and you want to support the Cozy Club, go ahead and stop what you're doing and click the red subscribe button right now and the notification bell, as we've got a lot of raid content to go over, a lot of Titan guides, the best teams, the best phases, and little things and strategies that we find out to really give you and your club the best chance possible. Now, with all that goodness being said, let's go ahead and start off this banger of a video and jump right into it. So we're covering the abilities of the Tornado Titan, everything you can read, but I also want to mention stuff that you can't see, and that's going to be the estimated health for the Tornado Titans. You guys can see from this graphic here, the estimated health for T1 is going to be about 7 million health. T2 is about 7.5 million. Now, T2 to T3 is a massive jump up to about 30 million estimated health. And then lastly, we have T4 at a whopping about 50 to 60 million health. We can expect that to be about half, and T3 and Heroic should probably match each other in health as it goes down a little bit in difficulty. This is a lot of health, and you're definitely going to need your entire club pumping in the damage, and hopefully with today's guide, we can get and just achieve just that. Alrighty, Cozy Club, we're going to go ahead and kick this guide off with going over everything the Titan is going to throw at you. And no, there's no pun intended there. We're going to go through all of the abilities that he has and really how to best prep yourself and your team to go against some of these, because when going against raid bosses in general, the biggest thing you can equip yourself with is knowing exactly what the other enemy, being the Titan, can throw at you. And so we're going to go and look visually at all the abilities and kind of the little things to look out for. Then we're going to head into the strategy and the best teams and characters to give you and your club the best chance and the best scores possible. Starting off with his basic attack, Vortex Vacuum. He's going to go ahead and deal damage to your team, and he'll be purging your helpful effects from whoever he's dedicated going after. Now, he's going to be taking these copied effects and he's going to be giving them to random twisters, and that's going to help them stack up their damage with the way that his passive works. Now, in addition to this, he's also going to call a random twister, and the main thing to know about this is you don't have to fear it all too much. Yeah, he'll take some taunts and protects, and your characters aren't going to die by any means, and you have nothing to fear. That is, if there aren't twisters on the board. Now, if there are twisters on the board, which we're going to get to everything you need to know about those little demons, you're going to have to fear this a lot. Pretty much all of his attacks, they kind of just tickle you. They don't do a lot. But if the twisters are going to kind of gang up and go with the big Tornado Titan, that's where things get out of hand, and that's why we want to make sure we manage these twisters as best as possible. Just being straight candid with you guys, if a tornado has helpful effects, especially a guaranteed crit, you can consider your run pretty much a healthy scratch and all but over. So with that delightful news, let's go ahead and talk about the twisters and kind of what you need to know about them and how they work and what's effective against them, because there's a lot that's not stated within the game and a lot that you guys should know when going up against the 4 mini tornadoes, or the twisters, like the movie from the 90s. Now let's take a look at Twister Touchdown. The Tornado Titan is going to summon 4 twisters. This happens pretty quickly within the battle, and these twisters are like summonable units, and they're going to act like separate characters in a team of 5, with the Titan being like the regular Hercules that you would go against in a PvP battle being the most important, and then the other 4 kind of surrounding extra cast. Twisters are going to deal damage to target and adjacent opponents, and they're going to be inflicting slow. Now, the thing is, if these twisters have a helpful effect, they're going to be dealing some massive damage, and for each helpful effect that they have on, it's just going to inflict the opposite harmful effect on your team. And again, you're going to be taking some very heavy damage and very deathly harmful effects. So now we got it, right? I'm no teacher, but twisters equal death, right? Now there's some things to kind of hold them down and some things that you need to know. Starting out with, the twisters are going to be healing after every single attack. If you're not going to be able to take down a twister in one shot, which, spoiler alert, you're not going to be able to. They've got a lot of health, especially as you climb up the tier system, or you don't inflict them with one of these status effects that take them down, they're going to simply heal right back up to full health and get ready to destroy you. So that pretty much means if you're not inflicting one of the powerful harmful effects or able to kill a twister, you want to concentrate all of your damage on the big guy himself. Now, many people are asking, Cozy, what are those harmful effects and how do you shut these guys down? Now, there's a lot of characters that can get the job done, and we've got a massive strategy, pretty much groundbreaking strategy that we're going to talk about here in just a second. That's going to really help a lot of you guys out. But these twisters are super susceptible, and by that I mean they die instantly to sleep, silence, polymorph, and stasis. Now, them with stasis is pretty much just pain and panic. And with the polymorph, you got like Dr. Facilier and Ursula, but silence and sleep are going to be the other two key things that you want to ensure that you have on your team. And that's going to be really decided by a few characters and some major spells. Separating these characters in these spells is going to be one of the most important parts of this strategy piece that we go into later, but this is going to one-shot them and completely take them out so that you can just take a little bit of burst damage from the Titan himself, take a little bit of damage, and then deal as much as possible. With all this, you don't really end up dying. You take a lot of damage, and it takes like an instant defeat or some of the other abilities we're about to cover for him to take down your team. We're about to dive right into the strategy, into everything else in the next ability page, but let's take a focus and look at Windstorm. Now, really cool animation here. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at you, pretty much everything he finds in his twister tornado form, and he's going to be transferring all harmful effects from himself, which, if you don't kill the Rock Titan first, it's going to be pretty much nothing, but he'll put fear and offense down and different things like that onto random people on your team. This is going to be unavoidable damage, and it's going to go to your entire team, and each hit is also going to add a twister to assist. On top of this, for each harmful effect that is on your team, it's going to be copying to other teammates. Now, just like the other ability, his basic, nothing to fear here. It's not going to do enough damage to completely wipe you out or take you down, or, you know, abilities like from the Forbidden Depths that once you get hit, it's like your team's done. If there's twisters on the board, you're dead. We've kind of gone over that, right? If he's going to be calling all these twisters to assist, it's over. It's going to be over pretty quickly. But you can survive a lot of this damage, and with the strategies we have, we're going to teach you how to keep the twisters at bay, and in general, just take a little bit of damage. The harmful effects, you know, you are going to feel that. You want to make sure you have some cleansers. But again, not a move to completely fear, and it's not going to completely wipe you out by any stretch of the imagination, as long as you're handling what you need to be doing. Now, as for these next set of abilities, these are more abilities that all the Titans share with a little bit of differences. You want to make sure you focus up here as we quickly go through them all. As you guys can see, beneath the seas of Tartarus, you've got that being his instant defeat, you know, move that he does every so often that completely wipes out one of your characters, and there's nothing you can do about it. Essentially, what Glue has stated or what DSA has stated is, doesn't matter about the taunts, doesn't matter about really anything. Whoever the Titan wants to kill, he's dead, and you're gonna have to adjust your run to be just that. If it goes after one of your mass silencers or one of your mass people that take care of the twisters, your runs are gonna end a little bit quicker, or if it goes after one of your main damage dealers, you may be able to survive longer, but not dish out as much damage. His next ability, Tornado Alley. On his turn start, guys, essentially, if he doesn't have any twisters, he's going to gain magic to his ability to summon those twisters for twister touchdown. On turn start as well, if the player, meaning you, have no summons, this is where summonable units are going to be very important. You're going to go ahead and give the twisters guaranteed crit, and again, you're going to just end your run straight up. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Let's move to Shadow of the Tornado Titan. A lot of text here, but go ahead and try to absorb everything you're hearing. Essentially, guys, you will not be able to gain a bonus speed meter while fighting other Titans in the raid while the Tornado Titan has not been defeated. This ability will be affected by the Force of Wind, which is going to give yourself a chance not to gain that bonus speed turn meter. And for each Titan defeated, the Tornado Titan is going to gain a great amount of offense, and on top of that, he's going to be starting the battle with some speed turn meter, making it a little bit harder when you go into him. Like we talked about before, there's going to be benefits for taking out Titans and also punishments. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, when this character loses a substantial amount of max health in a fight, become empowered. And while this guy's empowered, he gains offense speed. He can't really get any harmful effects on him, and it just makes him pretty much impossible to slay and take down. He's very difficult at that point, and it pretty much ends your run within a few turns. Now, we've learned that this is not a health damage base. This is percentage based. So typically, even if you're in T4, you're going to be landing maybe more damage than even T3 and T2, but just how the health pools kind of end up. And this is what is going to stop these solo attempts, at least for the moment. And that's why, you know, it's great. We can come up with strategies, and it's nothing groundbreaking because eventually he's going to be able to resist speed, turn meter, and just kind of demolish your team. And then, of course, it has Sorcerer Strength, which is, you know, being immune to all the big time status effects. And lastly, it's going to stop him from having his magic reduced too much, or his speed meter at that as well. All right, so those are going to be the abilities of the Titan, and visually you guys can see everything that he's going to throw at you. Let's talk about the strategies and what characters you want to bring into the battle. Now, to start this thing off, first and foremost, guys, Silence is way up there in the importance scale for harmful effects against this guy. Silence is going to be nuking down these twisters pretty easily, and the biggest characters that can pump out Silence at a fast rate are going to be the following plus a spell. These characters should be separated into 3 different teams, definitely not in the same team. And if you're having trouble and your club can't get this, you know, kind of phase down, like maybe you've got the Lava Titan down, but not the Tornado Titan, maybe instruct people in your club to go after these certain characters. That's going to be the Queen of Hearts with her AoE Silence being great. And she's got summons to make sure that there's no extra crits or helpful effects. You have Oogie Boogie with the AoE Silence. And then lastly, the MVP spell by a mile, pretty much in the entire raid, is going to be the Headless Horseman, which is a beginner spell, pretty easy to get, level 4 being a lot better than the levels before it. And you can go ahead and put Silence on a whole flanking row. Well, the good news is all the twisters are perfectly in a flanking row, and you can kill them all with one use of the spell itself. However, there's been a new strategy that the community and all of us have found, and it is going to be all about Intimidate, my friends. Intimidate is going to be the most important harmful effect in against the twister. And guys, this is going to be awesome. It's going to give you a lot more ability to get higher scores, and this is going to be the technique that you want to use when going up against this powerful Titan. You see, guys, Intimidate, you guys know what this does already. It stops assists and gains of speed meter, and it stops anyone from helping out another ally. Same in PvP and same as everywhere else. Well, my friends, the twisters are just like us, and if you put Intimidate on them, they're not going to be called to assist with the rest of the Tornado Titans abilities. Now, why is this a massive discovery? Well, the big trick of it right now is you want to bring in characters with Intimidate, and you want to kill 3 of the 4 twisters. This can be done a few different ways by selecting Silencer, Polymorph with like Dr. Facilier and some of the other characters we'll talk about here in a moment. Or you can go ahead and get the Headless Horseman, click 1 twister within, leave 1 twister to the left, go 1 twister within, and then kill those 3, leaving just 1 twister available. And you're going to go ahead and pop Intimidate on that bad boy. Now, you might be asking, why does that make a difference? What does that do? Well, my friends, let me tell you why this is a key strategy. If you pop Intimidate on just 1 twister and you leave that one alone, and that is it, the Tornado is not going to call any other twisters to come. He's not going to use that ability, and that twister is just going to sit there for the duration of the battle. It's a huge thing, and still not groundbreaking, as you can get the Tornado get empowered after a little bit, and he will end up killing your team. But there's not going to be assists from these twisters, and you're going to be able to just do 1 Intimidate on that twister, spreading out your team and making sure you have Intimidate on each and every one of your teams, mixed in with some Silence to kill the other 3. And you're looking great. You've got 1 twister with Intimidate. That twister will never get a turn. You don't have to worry about that. And then you just wail and throw everything you can at the main Titan himself, leaving him just to a few attacks that really can't do the damage unless he's empowered and ready and enraged to kill your whole team anyway. This is going to be a massive strategy, and it's going to help you get much better damage numbers down the line, and everyone should be making sure that they have Intimidate and Silence going into the battle. Here is a quick list of the characters that can go and pump out Intimidate following Bell with a target and adjacent for 1 turn, Bubbles with a single target intimidate, Fred can do it on 2 different moves within a passive, Honey Lemon on a single target who also can stun, Peter Pan, Shank, and Beast. Guys, these are going to be the characters you want to ensure that you have on your team, and it might be a good idea to even split up Bell and Beast, as those are the most common and most people have their hands on those too. So Silence, Intimidate, very powerful, very effective, and we found out how to split your team up and how to split those debuffs up. Again, you want to make sure you've got the Silence and those key characters split up and have Intimidate on their team, and you guys are going to be ready to go to really get some great runs. You know, I like putting Headless Horseman with characters that can pump out just a bunch of damage because you don't need to worry about the twisters in the first place. And some of the best teams that I have brought in so far and the ones that I'm seeing around is one that I coined the Cozy Special. I call it the Hades Machine Gun. This one's all about if you guys got a maxed Hades or a very powerful Hades and he's one of your best characters, you're going to have Hades basic attack just carry the damage. And this is the best run that I've had possible. You guys can see from this screenshot, we were about 400k damage and it didn't even go perfectly. Cozy Club, you guys can check out my attempt in the top right-hand corner. I posted my entire attempt on the video that was posted yesterday, but this is massive because the damage numbers that Hades can pump out with Ursula and the villains is going to be huge. Now, the main things of this team is having Pain and Panic, Hades, and then preferably having Ursula as being the lead of the damage to give Hades a little bit more damage overall, but he can work with Miguel and really any other team. He doesn't even need to have a lead for this to work. It's all about getting Hades to go as much as possible. So combine Hades, Pain and Panic, put even Bell in there for both the Intimidate and the calls to assist. To get yourself a lot of damage out there. Frollo calls the highest assist. You have a lot of characters that call Hades to assist, and once he's empowered, he's throwing big time fireballs all the time. You want to shadow the Pain and Panic, get even more assists going, and this is by far one of my favorite teams. Now, those that can inflict Intimidate are very important to form teams around as well, and the big heavy damage dealers like Hercules and Elsa also do a great job. We're actually finding a lot of free-to-play teams that can fit into the Titans, and the majority are actually pretty free-to-play friendly. Here are some summonable units to make sure that if there is no Intimidate and no Silence on the board, that you don't get too much damage done to you. After all, you want to ensure that you have summoned units on the field to reduce what the tornado is going to throw at you. Characters like Jasmine, Horn King, Queen of Hearts, Frollo, Esmeralda, Yokai, Sergeant Calhoun. You have Smee, Kristoff, Maximus, Tiana, The Rock, Frank, Wolf, and then you've got Scar, Ursula, and Davy Jones all being very important, with Davy Jones being super great against a tornado as he can inflict the black spot, and he's got some great summoned units all the time when the twisters die and anyone on your team happens to die as well. Also, a quick shout out to Esmeralda, as Esmeralda can really be great in throwing the twisters at each other or throwing them at the boss or having the Titan get attacked by his own twisters. Esmeralda causes the other characters to use their basic attacks. Same as Mother Gothel. Really like that strategy as well. Right now, what we're finding is bring in your best teams that you can. Just ensure that you have Silence and Intimidate on those teams. So whether they're Frozen or you have Mythicals, you have Oceanics, there's usually a spot you can fill in there with Intimidate and with Silence. So it's going to be up to your roster, but put in these little placements and you've got a great chance. I really like the big damage dealers. Obviously, we listed our MVPs of characters and pretty much everything you need to know about the threatening Tornado Titan. Already, just with one attempt in the T4, we have found some very effective methods going up against this bad guy. And lastly, for a great question, go ahead and plug down in the comments below what are some great strategies or characters that you have seen either free to play or pay to play to help out the community as well. Because again, I can't do this by myself. We've got to do it all together to help each other get the best damage possible. So, my friends, hopefully you have found this guide helpful. You learned a thing or two, and visually, you can see what you need to do against the giant Titan himself, providing some great strategies and ways to get the best score possible. Guys, if you want to see more guides just like this, again, don't forget to subscribe and come check me out on Twitch, as I'm going to be doing raid content pretty much exclusively for a while now. So I'll put that down in the description below. Follow me on Twitch, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and until the next Titan raid guide, my friends, stay cozy.